So let's get to the first clip. This is Kamala Harris responding to somebody that when she was talking about abortion, somebody said Jesus is Lord. This was her response.
With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Now, look, I'm going to call balls and strikes here, okay? I will call balls and strikes. Maybe that's not what she heard. Maybe she just heard somebody scream. Maybe she didn't hear Jesus is Lord. Maybe. I would hope that she wasn't stupid enough to hear Jesus is Lord and turn and go, you don't belong here. Hopefully she's not that stupid. I don't know. I don't know. But balls and strikes. Let's just say for the sake of arguing, she didn't hear it. Well, this is what I thought when I first heard it. Wah, wah. I just put that in there because I thought it was funny when I saw it.
I like it.
But so she makes the move from that. And obviously there was a lot of blowback, a lot. So what's the next thing she does? Well, she goes and talks to a church. And I was like, all right, maybe, okay, all right, but play it. Go ahead.
And let us recognize that when we shine the light in moments of darkness, it will guide our feet into the path of peace. And let us remember that while weeping may endure for a night, joy cometh in the morning.
Okay. All right. Cool. Great. That's great. So let's talk a little bit about the church. The church that she decided to go preach at. And apparently talk. She was teaching out of the book of Luke when it comes to the Samaritan. Okay? The parable of the, Samaritan. And then she ends with that. But did anybody notice the pulpit? Anybody notice it? Casey, you want to play that again? Anybody notice what I did when I first saw it?
And let us recognize
that
when
that
we
photo
shine
right there?
the light
Picture?
in moments of darkness.
Yeah, that's a BLM fist holding a cross. Google it. But you know what? I'm when it comes to religion and people's faith, and look, everybody's faith is their own personal thing. So it takes a lot for me to turn and go, hey. So I heard her kick somebody out. I heard that speech and I saw the fist and I was like, but I was like, all right, well, we're going to keep digging. And so I did. Here is the pastor of that church. His words.
I'm looking for people that smell like weed. No, really.
You heard it. Smell like weed.
New Birth is the largest land-owning black church in America.
Wow.
And so my position to my deacons is, why aren't we not raising cannabis? I'll be able to bring in black males. They're able to do it legally. I'm teaching them farming.
Oh my God.
I'm helping them to enhance the ecosystem. This is the kind of conversation. So if the guy, black boy in Bankhead said, they growing weed at the church? Where do I join?
Yes.
Here we go.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes.
Anyway, I want cannabis, marijuana. Like, stop saying cannabis. Let's call it what it is, pastor. It's marijuana. Okay? I want marijuana at my church because that gives me an opportunity to teach black men farming. You can literally go to any Tractor Supply in America or I don't know, any farming thing, throw a rock and hit, I don't know, corn, potatoes, tomatoes, anything, literally anything. And you can teach those young men a skill of farming. If your church is the largest land-owning church in America, why haven't you done that already? You don't have to legalize and get weed in your church and get your kids and your youth addicted to drugs in order to teach them a skill. That is blasphemy of the highest. I can't. This is a pastor. But guys, it gets worse.
He's not a good pastor.
It gets worse. Same guy.
You said something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister.
Yeah. Full stop.
And Mordecai was man enough to know that in order for me to be a man, I got to know how to support a woman. Something is wrong with brothers who don't know how to support a sister. It was a sister that raised you. It was a sister that taught you how to read. It was a sister that taught you how to bathe yourself.
In the context of the vice president, were you trying to send a message?
That we've got to be able to both, that misogyny is still real in our community. We've got to address it head on and not act like it doesn't exist. The reality is, if black men had voted, Stacey Abrams would be a governor. And so I think that we've got to do some real redress. That after racism, the biggest ill in America is sexism. And I think it's part of the responsibility of this generation to deal with it head on.
Misogyny and sexism is the biggest problem right now. It's a pastor. Okay, and I agree. We do have a problem with sexism and things like that, and racism. We got problems with all that kind of stuff. We do. I agree. But anybody recognize this dude? Because when I first saw his picture, I was like, I've seen that guy before. I've seen him before. I have. And then I started researching him a little bit more. Here we go. This pastor is talking about sexist and misogyny, and he was just embroiled. It doesn't say it says another cheating scandal. This dude was married to Giselle Bryant, who was on the Real Housewives show. Have you lost your mind, church? That this dude wants to bring marijuana in your church. And he has been accused of cheating on his wife, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4, 5, but 6 or 7 times. And he's still a pastor of a mega church. Now, I don't like Big C. I don't. But here's what we have to understand as members of the body is that these mega churches reach thousands of people per day. That means that blasphemous message is spreading to thousands upon thousands of innocent ears every single day. And a lot of them do not have the common sense to go, oh, what he's saying might not be right. I might want to go get the book and check for myself. No. But here's another factoid about this pastor. 34-year-old woman from Los Angeles, a masseuse, accusing of the pastor of fathering her 10-month-old son, and not only, he's failed to financially support said child. So why are you on stage talking about misogyny and sexism, dude?
I mean, you can't talk about the past. You got to leave the past behind you, and
Well, that's fine. I mean, I get it. Hakuna Matata. I get it.
Yeah, sure.
I get it. Whatever. Okay.
It was just one kid. Like, you know, he doesn't have like that many baby mamas, right?
Oh, you don't think so? Play the next clip. This is off the Real Housewives show. This is straight off the show.
I talked to my dad yesterday. He said he wants us to be happy.
Thank you, Mr. Graves. It means a lot.
That's Giselle. That's her father.
This is great.
All right, I'm going to sneak out and go to the bathroom.
Okay. I thought you were going to ask my dad my hand in marriage.
No, I think we've got some rivers to cross.
I think he's going to take the mic off from me. I think I'm done. This is not a good move for her. You know, this guy's got 6, 7 baby mamas, you know. Do you want to deal with that again? No. As a father, you think twice about that kind of stuff. I'm done. Yeah.
It's like, hey, Reverend, you gonna ask my dad about marriage? No, I think we got some rivers to cross. He goes to the bathroom and hits the producer up, man, take all this off.
Yeah.
This dude is worthless.
I'm done.
Like, he's got 6, 7 baby mamas. No, I don't want no part of that. No, my daughter don't want no part of that. The answer is no.
Insane.
No. Now, I do have good news. There are good leaders, good pastors, good men of God out there that are preaching the correct, I'm not going to say the right, I'm going to say the correct message. Here we go.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't care what president, what color he is. If you ain't in line with God, I can't stand with you. You're getting off with God because you're trying to stand with black. I can't vote for a party that is for all kind of sexual perversions. I can't do it. I can't go with a party that says you can be a boy today and a girl tomorrow. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't support a party that wants to remove God from its party platform. You in trouble when the nation forgets God.
Amen.
Y'all got to make a decision.
Profound
I gotta be with my color. I got to stand with my color, meaning I'll reject Christ. Color gonna get you in trouble. It's either God or the devil. But when you vote for people with these convictions and they get in office and they start doing these things, you got a responsibility for it. You can't separate your politics from your biblical worldview. It's my biblical worldview that determines my politics. You vote for whoever you want, but you're going to have to stand before God.
Yes, Lord, you are. You absolutely are. So after all that, all right, and you're going to tell me that Kamala didn't know that pastor wasn't. Now, I'm not saying a man doesn't fall short of the glory of God. I'm not saying that. That's biblical. Okay? Every hero in the Bible, with the exception of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, every hero in the Bible had convictions, had things that drugged them down, had sins that they had trouble overcoming. Every one of them. But the difference was they failed, they realigned with God, and they got back on the path. Okay? This pastor makes mistake over and over, and he stays in church leadership. No. Can you come back to church leadership? Absolutely you can. You definitely can. Beyond a shadow of a doubt you can. But you can't stay there and continue to make those mistakes. It's hypocritical. It's blasphemous, and you're setting a poor example for every member of your flock. You are a shepherd that is leading the flock astray. And you're going to tell me Kamala did not know all this? Yeah, she knew all this because that's the only church that would let her grace their doors. Plain and simple.
The church was called New Birth, too. How ironic. She's up there talking about abortion, and it's called New Birth. Anyway.
And so she makes the statement. She goes to the church, and then she's posed the question about abortion again and was asked about what about exemptions? Like, religious exemptions to abortion. This was her response.
What concessions would be on the table? Religious exemptions, for example? Is that something that you would consider?
I don't think we should be making concessions when we're talking about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body.
To Republicans like, for example, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, who would back something like this on a Democratic agenda if, in fact, Republicans control Congress, would you offer them an olive branch? Or is that off the table? Is that not an option for you?
I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals.
It's one thing when a person tells you who they are. It's one thing. When a person shows you who they are, believe it. She just had the opportunity right there and laid it down. Laid it down. Said, should there be religious exemptions to abortion? There is no situation where an exemption should be made for, and you notice how she doesn't say abortion. She says women's productive freedom. Stop word salading murder. That in itself is the twisted, toxic words of the devil himself. That's what the devil does. That is what Satan does. He is the author of confusion. It is Satan that will take the word abortion, which is murder, and tell you to roll it up in freedom in the red, white, and blue and lay it out. That way it don't sound as bad. That's of the devil. Period. And because of this, this is what we have going on in our country. These are pastors. These are church leaders outside of a clinic.
As we surround this safe space this afternoon, we are compelled, friends, trust women who go through these doors. Trust these women. We trust them to know that they are the one and only person who has agency over her own body.
And we will walk together around the clinic, dropping petals that represent our care and our holding and our prayer for all people who need abortions and for all of those who work with them.
These times really call us to be prophetic, present, and connected to the women who have to make these kinds of decisions. And we need to be in solidarity and show them how important it is that they hear that the people of faith are supportive of them.
We're good. You got pastors, religious leaders holding a prayer meeting in front of an abortion clinic. In front of an abortion clinic. I hate to say it. But this is the point when all of us have to call a spade, when we have to look at the people leading our children down the wrong path. Now, I'm not saying that we go up in that clinic and then we just start chastising everybody and saying, what you're doing is sinning. You're murdering a child. You're killing an innocent. No. It doesn't have to go down that way. Because then when we do that, we're no better than the ones out there praying for this stuff. We're no better than them. And I hate it for them because one day those people will have to stand before God, and that right there will be showing, and God will go, got a response? I'm waiting.
Well, we just thought we were doing it right. We were being progressive for you, oh Lord. Please don't.
Yeah.
I'm just following directions.
And then God is going to look at them and say, I gave you 3 references. I gave you 3 things in black and white. 3. I gave you more than 3, but let's talk about these 3, pastors. Number 1, pull it up for me, Casey. Number 1, Psalms 139, for you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you. For when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, and yet there was none of them. Psalms. He said, I also, ladies, pastors, I also gave you Jeremiah, that before I was formed in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I consecrated you and I appointed you. But most importantly, I gave you the 10 commandments that you shall not murder. Simple, easy rules. And I don't care if you are a follower of Jesus like me. I need you to understand, if you're not, I'm not chastising you. I love you with all of my heart. And I want you to join and get the same experience and get the same just pleasure and love and just the availability of the love, grace, and mercy that I experience every single day. I do. But even if you're not a follower, you can read this book and go buy it as a guideline and still be a pretty good human being. But I guarantee you, if you're not a follower, you pick up this thing and start to reading it, something's going to happen. And it's something I can't explain to you. I wish I could. I wish I could bottle it and let you drink it, because it'll change your life forever.